Hi everybody, in this video we will talk about this bike. But what is this? What is written on the side of it? That this is the KTM 1090 Adventure. But it's not 1090, it's a 1050 engine. There is a 1050 engine in it. Then what is it? Is it a 1050 or a 1090? What this motor is and how it behaves, it will turn out for the end of this video. So that you can understand that what this bike is about, I have to talk a little about its history. Back in 2015, the KTM had three touring enduro models, the so-called 1050, which was 93 horsepower, the so-called 1190, which was 150 horsepower, and the newly introduced 1290, which had 160 horsepower. KTM was thinking on to keep this range on the market for a long time, but some things happened in 2016. The first thing which changed almost everything was that after a year-long marketing campaign, Honda launched a new Africa Twin, which was 95 horsepower. So it had 2 horsepower more than the small KTM, and the rumors came out in the press that BMW is preparing for something, so that there may be a kind of upgrade of the classical BMW GS12 1200. So KTM had to step forward and recalculate everything and decide what to remain and what to forget. How they decided is that they finished the 1050 Adventure line. Instead, they came out with the 1090 Adventure S and the rally version, the R type, which basically have the same 150 CCM engine, but with 30 more horsepower. They finished the 1190 Adventure and concentrated on the 1290 Adventure. That's how motorcycle industry works. So, why did I choose this motorcycle? What I plan to do with the motorcycle and what I usually do. You have to know in connection with me that I don't really use my motorcycles, mainly touring enduros, for urban surroundings. I make big, long tours to the biggest hills and passages of the European hilly regions like the Alps, Dolomites, Pyrenees, Tatra, etc. And I was looking for a bike which is comfortable, with which I can take a lot of package with me, which is comfortable as well for 2 persons. It has power, it has performance. I can go with it a lot of kilometers, and it is comfortable enough so that I don't have to stop at every 100-200 kilometers. That's why I choose this bike. And of course there was another aspect, 2 aspects mainly. One of them was that I didn't like this new touch screen type of bikes. I like the classical dashboard type, and this is, I think, one of the last KTMs which has a classical dashboard, of course with a lot of digital information, but not a touchscreen version. And the second was that I didn't want a bike which is too heavy, which is around 250 kilograms or more. You have to know that I'm not a motorcycle journalist. I just give you my personal experiences and what I experienced as an old rider in connection with this bike. So one of the most important questions is that whether this bike met my expectations that I told you before. And I have to tell you that yes, I love to ride with this bike, and as I don't really go off-road, or very rarely, and I don't really plan to do, as otherwise 97% of the buyers of big touring enduros, for street use this is either for one person or for two persons. You have to know that I had a motorcycle rental company for 5 years as an owner, and we had a lot of touring enduros and of course some KTM 990 adventures, which I liked and preferred to ride, but which I hated to repair all the time, as they weren't the most reliable piece of cake on earth. That's what I'm fear of in connection with this bike. Although I traveled with it almost 10,000 kilometers, a little bit more than 8, and experienced no problem. But it's a young bike, and I hope that the KTM reliability issues will not occur in the future. I bought this bike almost a year ago, a little bit less, from a guy who used it for 2 years, but rode the bike only for a little bit more than 2,500 kilometers, so almost nothing. It was like a 0 kilometer new bike, and I was quite lucky because almost all factory extras that KTM offers to an enduro like this was on the bike, as the former owner bought almost everything. One of the most important of was the heated gel seat, which is really very comfortable, although it makes the bike a little bit taller, higher. So even if I'm taller than 180 centimeters, sometimes I have problems to put both my feet on the ground. The bike has crash bars and 3 boxes. Of course, only one is here now, and the factory, otherwise very practical tank bag. With this I can carry a load of things. The bike has a very good sound and accelerates like hell. It has 3 modes. One of them is the street mode, that's what I use in most cases. The rain mode, which decreases the power for 100 horsepower. And the sports mode, which I don't really use because if you put sports mode on, it's like an animal. Mainly above 5,000 RPM, it's unbelievable. So if you ride a bike like this in sports mode, it behaves sometimes like a sports bike. This bike has 19 inches front wheel and 17 inches wheel. But basically it's a touring enduro, and it behaves very well even on bad roads or bad quality roads. I was riding this bike in almost all alpine passes, sometimes in heavy rains. I was in Mountain Tatra, then it was freezing, and I have never had any problem with road handling, and I've never had any problem with braking. There are Brembo brakes on the front and Brembo brakes on the back, so on the rear, so they usually do what they have to do, and the ABS is very well tuned and works absolutely properly, even in not so good conditions. So after almost a year and 8,000 kilometers, was it a good decision? So do I have to change my mind or anything like this? I'm absolutely convinced by the bike, and I'm happy to choose this, and I can't really tell anything that is a major negative issue in connection with the bike presently. Although I bought it for more years, not only one, it will turn out that within 1 or 2 years I will be as happy as now, and whether the usual KTM reliability issues will come out in connection with this bike or not. It will turn out. If this video was interesting for you, please press the like us. If you would like to donate, if you would like to support our channel, you can find the details in the description, that how you can do it and how you can donate anything to us. If you would like to see similar content and other interesting videos, please subscribe, and don't forget to push the bell button so that you can get notifications later on.